How's it going, guys? It's been a while and I just want to talk about the GH6. With all these amazing full frame cameras coming out, I happen to have found a nice sweet deal on a GH6, basically roughly about $2,300 AUD. So I got two of them and I've been testing it out, and I also found someone on Facebook Marketplace that seems to be selling all these beautiful primes by Panasonic and Olympus, and at such a good price, so I just couldn't say no to that. So I ended up getting the whole shebang. This person sold the Olympus 7x14mm f2.8, the 8mm f1.8 macro, the 17 f1.2 wide lens, the 25mm f1.2, and also in the Panasonic lineup, the Panasonic Leica 12mm f1.4, and the Panasonic Leica 42 f.5 f1.2. And using these lenses, these ranges, I really could test out how good is a micro four thirds camera now compared to full frame. And I just thought I'd give you my pros and cons because I've used it for a couple of events. I guess shooting with a friend, shooting with my fiance, did a couple of weddings with it, and just some minor things. So I'll show a few photos of different lenses in different situations. And for anyone who's looking into getting into the GH6, there are some pros and cons. Ultimately, it's a pro. There's definitely more pros coming up with the Panasonic S5 Mark II and Panasonic S5 Mark IIX. You really have to weigh up what you're wanting. And I'm actually coming from an S5 user. I do not trust my S5 with video autofocus. Like, it's just not there yet. Whereas if you're looking at the GH6, even though it's still using contrast-based video autofocus, which one I'm using now on the 12mm f1.4, using a soft filter on, I trust it completely. It's probably the only contrast-based autofocus system that I trust really, really well, that won't like go in and out. It'll like stay on the face and things like that. I trust the GH6 professionally, whereas with the Lumix S5, when I'm using it on jobs, I don't have that complete trust and I always have to be behind the camera. I can't let it stay still. But this main video, it's mainly about photography. Will I use the GH6 as a photography camera on jobs? And the quick answer is probably yes, I probably would. And here are my thoughts on the difference between the GH6 and I guess proper full frame cameras, is that because it's a smaller sensor, the image quality may not have that depth of field, that bokeh, so that's probably the biggest con. If bokeh is your main concern, then I would definitely encourage you to get a full frame camera. Even a full frame camera using an f2.8 lens or an f1.8 lens will be better than using a micro four thirds camera. Other thing is that the low light, the colors of the GH6 is quite beautiful. And one thing I noticed shooting with the GH6 is that because it's a micro four thirds sensor and it won't show more bokeh, on the flip side, it's gonna show more detail. And that's something I actually didn't think I would like, but I've grown to like photos with more detail, more sharpness, with less bokeh, if that makes sense. And it's a nice feeling that you're like finding new ways of enjoying photography without just wanting that rich bokeh effect. So using this camera, there's only a few ways of getting bokeh. So if you're using the 17mm f1.2, which is a 35mm in full frame terms, you really have to be up close to get that bokeh effect. When you're using 25mm f1.2, which is a 50mm full frame equivalent, you can be maybe 2-3 meters away from the subject and still get that nice bokeh effect. And with the 42.5 f1.2, which is a 90mm 85mm lens, you can be roughly 3, 4, 5 meters away and still get nice bokeh. But that's okay. So I guess if you want to get a nice bokeh shot, you just have to use those rules and make sure that you're using the right lenses to get those bokeh shots. But the biggest thing, the most surprising thing that I want to talk about with the GH6 in terms of a photography camera is that the photos look nice. You know, like there's nothing lacking. As long as you're shooting it in good lighting environments, it is quite beautiful, which is something I've somewhat liked to appreciate as a photography camera. But if I talked about the slight cons of having a GH6, I guess you can't really use it as well on higher ISOs like 1600, 3200, 6400. You really start to see the noise, the grain, but the grain is not bad. It's not like yucky. You just have to like get used to it or like start to like grain type of images. And yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say about the GH6 as a photography camera. With the right lenses, it's really a nice camera. It's a really nice tool. But if I quickly talk about it as a video camera, it's awesome. Like, doesn't overheat, can shoot really nice color. I can trust it completely. Might do another video on that. But at the moment, with two GH6s, it's such a nice camera, you know. I just caught it not autofocusing in my face, so I just had to tap on it. There you go. It's not completely reliable, but it's 95% there. Like, I fully trust it, but maybe not quite as much now after that little incident. Maybe it's the glasses, you know. It's the glasses, maybe. But yeah, GH6 is a real beautiful video camera. No faults about it. As a camera, photography might be something you want to look at. I never thought I would want to shoot with a GH6, a micro four thirds camera, but after doing a few tests with my friends and jobs, I can say that it's a possibility now. Like, I'm more comfortable shooting with a micro four thirds camera. But yeah, you let me know. Are you happy with these images? If you showed these images to your client, would they be happy with it? Or are you just happy with it as a day-to-day camera, as a hobbyist? I'm curious to know, because it's a new transition to shoot micro four thirds for jobs. In photography, that is, not video. In photography, because I'm always a full frame shooter. That's it. I'll see you guys next time.